professor, physician, epidemiologist. I am Dr. Sri Banerjee. Hello, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, and in this video I'll be going over a little bit about how to conduct a statistical test when you have different types of variables. So let me get started here. So what I'll do here is go over various types of study variable relationships and then tell you a little bit about the type of statistical test that is appropriate within each scenario. So for starters, if we're thinking about continuous versus a categorical variable, so then can you think of the type of figure that is most appropriate in this situation? If you selected boxplot, then you selected correct. The boxplot has the potential to not only produce the mean age, but also stratify this by different variables. For instance, gender can be a good way to stratify age. So the main type of visual that is appropriate here would be the boxplot. Typically the boxplot would look something like this. You would have the 50th percentile, and then some of the extremes would be mapped out here and here. So imagine that this is the mean age group for males, and then you would then have to draw a box plot for females. So if you were to have a box plot, then this is the mean 50th for females. So then you can do the comparison in age between females and males. So this is one way that you can have a continuous versus categorical variable. Now if you were to formulate the type of statistical test and provide in scientific notation the null hypothesis, then there's a specific way to do that, and let me go over that in conjunction with the type of visual. So when you're thinking about the null hypothesis, what do you want to be thinking about? So the null hypothesis, of course, will also depend on another thing, and that is the type of statistical test that you're running. So when you have two means and you're comparing two means, the most optimal type of statistical test is the independent samples t-test. Now there's typically three types of t-tests that you can be thinking about, and that is the one sample t-test, the paired sample t-test, or the independent samples t-test. The one that we're going to go over here is the independent samples t-test. So in scientific notation, the null hypothesis is written as follows: H naught and then colon, and then you would write mu1 is equal to mu2, and mu1 and mu2 correspond to the means for male and female. So mu1 is mean for male, and mu2 is mean for females. So the alternative hypothesis then would be as follows: mu for males is not equal to the mu for females. So there you have it. That's the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So then you run the t-test, and the one test that you do before you run the t-test is the test for homogeneity, or Levine's test. So if the Levine's test is significant, then you can assume that you have a heterogeneous sort of comparison. So then you're ready for the main comparison in the statistical test. So I hope this makes sense. You can run the main statistical test in a number of statistical packages, including SPSS, but there's also ways that you can run it in R, or even you can use SAS. And I have actually in various videos explained how to run it in various statistical packages. So I hope this has not only provided you with the theory needed to run a statistical test, but also provided you with some visuals that you can use to kind of better understand the relationship between your dependent and independent variable. Thank you for listening.